Yo, what is up, everybody? Soresco back again. Another chapter of the horror story, Red Heart, written by Jacob Harris. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying it so far. Remember to like, comment, and share. Chapter 7. At her wit's end, Miss Suzuki had no choice but to visit a doctor. To her dismay, it was recommended Manami be put on a very powerful medication. Never one to argue with someone who knew far more about topics she was mostly ignorant to, Miss Suzuki agreed. Though she put up a valiant fight every time her mother demanded she take one of her pills, Manami always lost the battle. Such a heavy prescription was it that it took no time at all for Manami to succumb to sleep each night. Kazumi continued to come to Manami's room each night, but the young girl was far too deep in her slumber to be awakened even by her greatest fear. Such a deep sleep did the medication put Manami in that it took quite some cajoling each morning just to wake her. The first morning was especially harrowing as Manami's mother thought her daughter was in some kind of drug-induced coma. After a few days, Miss Suzuki decided it was time for Yuko to come back to the house. She wanted Manami to get better acclimated to her medication before introducing her back to the outside world. Upon arriving at the Suzuki house, Yuko found Manami once again doodling in the living room. It seemed to her that the medication was having no real negative effects. Yuko's mind was immediately changed when she found Manami was drawing nothing more than a blotch. The look on her face made her seem as if her mind had been separated from her body. "Manami," said a smiling Yuko, trying to get a smile from her. There was no smile. Manami did nothing more than continue to swirl her crayon around the paper. "She gets like this sometimes," said Miss Suzuki. To keep Manami from hearing such a sensitive conversation, Yuko and Miss Suzuki took to the kitchen to speak. "I didn't want it to come to this. Putting Manami on medication was the last thing I wanted. But nothing has worked. It kept getting worse. He kept saying that the woman was trying to get me over and over. She was even screaming in her sleep. I didn't have a choice. I just want my daughter to be happy. I don't know what else to do." With a new resolve, Yuko paid another visit to Miss Watanabe's house that evening. He didn't know if she would find anything that could be of use, or if there was anything buried away in the newspapers that could help Manami, even in the slightest. Then Yuko would find it. For hours, Yuko scanned newspaper after newspaper. Her body was sore from sitting in the same position for so long, and her vision began to blur. But those minor obstacles would not deter Yuko. "Young girl slain by mother," read a headline that caused Yuko's heart to nearly stop. What made the headline all more disturbing was that the picture was of the Suzuki house right beneath it. As fast as she could, Yuko read the story. The name of a young girl had been omitted, but her mother's name was given. 32-year-old Tomomi Ono was arrested after confessing to the murder of her daughter. Days before the confession, she told police that her daughter had wandered away from home and never returned. But a guilty conscience compelled her to confess everything to the authorities. When asked why she would commit such a horrible crime, Ono told investigators that her husband had left her for another woman and left her to raise their child on her own. Her frustrations turned deadly when she found her daughter had drawn a red heart on her bedroom wall. In a blind rage, Ono strangled her daughter. She then buried the body in the woods just outside of town. A feeling of great sadness filled Yuko. She had known nothing of the case only minutes earlier, but she somehow felt a connection to it through her friendship with Manami. The light suddenly began to flicker. When Yuko began tapping on the bulb, the sound of something scratching at the closet door filled the room. Manami's heart began to race. Hello? Taking a few timid steps forward to the closet, Yuko called out again. Hello? Is someone there? The only response was more scratching. With a trembling hand, Yuko took hold of the closet door. She then very slowly opened it. Something that moved so quickly that it was only a black blur jumped out at her, forcing a terrified scream to burst from Yuko. Miss Watanabe rushed into the room. What happened? The black cat that had burst from the closet began rubbing against its owner's legs. Tomcat, where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you. I thought you ran away. Finding that it was only a cat that had scared her, it gave Yuko a great feeling of relief. A small part of her had led her to believe a ghost had come for her. What have you been eating? Miss Watanabe asked her cat, picking him up from off the floor and cradling him in her arms as a mother would with her infant. You look so fat. Did you find a mouse? Looks like you don't need your mommy to survive, huh? Sorry, Yuko. I didn't know he was in here. That's okay. I found what I was looking for. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end, chapter 7.